the chairman of the Pennsylvania Leadership Conference, Mr. Frederick W. Anton III.
Good afternoon. I am very much in a nostalgic mood today. This is, I believe, 27 years since we held our first PLC conference in 1959. And as I arrived at the hotel, I was greeted by John Gizzi. John, are you here? A reporter from Newsmax who will be making a presentation tomorrow morning, as he has at many of these conferences. And John was reminding me of that first conference when we had about 50 to 75 people in attendance. Now, our speaker was Newt Gingrich, and he was quite a catch at that time, and he spoke because he was here to visit his parents in the Harrisburg area. But moving on, really this conference took off in 2004 and 2005, and the reason, the energy that was generated into this movement was created by Pat Toomey's vigorous attempt to unseat Arlen Specter in the 2000s. And there was a tremendous response and a tremendous gathering of conservatives because, of course, many felt that Arlen was a rhino and that he'd been in Congress too long. And of course, eventually, in my judgment, Senator Toomey, because he was going to run against Arlen Specter in 2010, drove Arlen from office. So Senator Toomey, just by virtue of those actions and by the energy that he put into that, certainly established his conservative credentials. Now, I also want to say preliminarily that the reason this conference has been as successful as it has been is the work of one man. It's Lowman Henry. And since this is the only time I will be addressing you, I wanted to make sure to bring that to your attention because that has been very, very important to me. The three people who are the board of the PLC are, I'm the chairman, Lowman is the president, and Dave Taylor is the secretary. Of course, that's not to say we don't have the support of almost all the conservative and business organizations growing constantly. Now, I come here with a great deal of sadness and a great deal of apprehension about the possibility of electing a Republican president of the United States. I'm extremely without regard to who you are individually for, Trump, Cruz, Kasich, or some person who might emerge from a deadlock convention. I am extremely concerned about the fragmentation of the Republican Party and the likelihood that there will be unity following the convention and that we will be able to have a unified effort against the Democrats on behalf of whoever our candidate is. And the prospects for our candidate winning Pennsylvania are extremely depressing. And that is a very important part of the message that I would like to communicate to you. First, realize our candidate for president has not won the state of Pennsylvania since 1988. George Bush 41 was the last presidential candidate that won Pennsylvania. Bear in mind also that the registration in Pennsylvania is 4 million Democrats, approximately 3 million Republicans, and 700,000 independents. Unless we are behind a unified candidate, we have virtually no chance, none, to carry the state of Pennsylvania for the person at the top of our ticket. And that brings me to really the thrust of my presentation. We need to focus on the re-election of Senator Pat Toomey to the United States Senate. Pat Toomey may have disappointed you in one way or another on some issue. Pat Toomey is a solid conservative. Pat Toomey has had accomplishments, particularly in the fiscal area in the United States Senate. Pat Toomey has been a good conservative Republican senator, and we need to return him. Now, it's even more important than that. We need to retain control of the majority in the United States Senate. If a Democrat is elected president, the majority will have a big impact in the negotiations on who is appointed to the Supreme Court. We are in serious jeopardy of losing the majority in the United States Senate. Currently, the balance in the Senate is 54 Republicans, 46 Democrats, actually 44 Democrats and 2 independents running for caucusing with the Democrats. There are 6 states where it is acknowledged that the Republican incumbents or the Republican candidates, 6 seats held by Republicans that are in serious jeopardy of flipping to Democrat. If 5 of those seats flip, it'll be 51. They'll have 51 to 49. Therefore, each one of those senators, their re-election is vitally important to our retaining control of the United States Senate. Now, even though we've been unsuccessful in electing, in winning Pennsylvania for our Republican candidates for president, in those years, down-ticket Republicans have been successful in winning. A number of squishy liberal Republicans vote for the Democratic nominee for president at the top of the ticket, and then they vote down the ticket for the Republican candidate, as they should. A notable example of that is the victories by Tom Corbett in 2004 and 2008 for Attorney General. We can elect our down-ticket Republicans, and it is extremely important, starting with Senator Toomey, that we especially focus on that result and realize how important it is. So I hope that you will consider Senator Toomey will not be here this weekend. We owe him our support as an outstanding senator, and we need him for control of the United States Senate. Thank you very much.